then.
It's go time.
Wow. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to OK Bud, the podcast where everything's going to be okay. But I am Ben Kissel at Ben Kissel1, joined by Jerry Aquino.
Hello.
At Miss_Jerry, that's Jerii, and Kyle Plouffe.
What's up?
At Kyle Plouffe. Also, check us out on Patreon, patreon.com/diebud. And check us out on email. Email us, okbudpod@gmail.com. And that is where we start today.
Oh, it is? An email?
An email.
Ooh, nice.
This comes in from Kelly. She has a couple of questions. She says, love the show. I'm a Starbucks shift supervisor, and OK Bud is my daily listen on my way in to my 4 a.m. shifts.
Whoa. Well, that's good. You need to get some pep in your step. You need to get some giggles out.
Absolutely.
Just wake yourself on up.
Go into work with a smile on your face, which is quickly erased when somebody walks in and they say, I want a triple double fraccio whatever with the spit of my stepmother in it.
Yeah.
And then you're like, I don't have the spit of your stepmother. And they're like, here it is in a jar. And then you have to add it to that.
Right.
And everyone has a unique order.
Right.
And their name is Tom, but with an H, so you spell it wrong because you spelled it right.
Thumb.
Ah, yes. Thumb.
Kelly says, I've been a fan of Ben since 2020, and now a massive fan of Jerry and Kyle.
Oh.
She says, I appreciate all of you and what you guys do. She has a couple of questions. She says, for Ben, I wanted to know I wanted you to know that I met hardcore legend Mick Foley, and he was wearing a Hail Yourself shirt.
Whoa,
Holy
that
shit.
is so sick.
That's absolutely insane and amazing. For Jerry, she has pictures of her cat, Lloyd.
Oh,
Isn't that cute?
Lloyd.
Did you get him on Christmas?
That's a really cute name.
Oh,
Lloyd Christmas.
Lloyd Christmas.
Lloyd
Dumb and
Christmas.
Dumber.
Yeah.
Yes.
A fantastic reference. And let's just show Jerry the picture of Lloyd here really quick.
Oh my God, he's precious.
Precious kitty.
Oh my God, that's so cute. Oh, so sick. And then there's a photo.
Yes, indeed, of Mick Foley. So that is super sweet.
Holy
Hey.
shit.
And then she says, and I was wondering if Kyle has heard of or has any plans to attend the Gathering of the Cows,
Ooh.
which is in Kyle, Texas.
Yeah.
That's so true.
I was very upset that I missed it, but then I realized it happens every year, I believe. So
It
I'm not stressing about it anymore. I will go.
You
I
have
should
to.
do it for the show.
You really
yeah,
do.
you really should.
Or, not everything is content. Sometimes you have to live your life.
Yeah, but I'm going to fucking want to meet a bunch of Kyles for no content. No, thank you.
Yeah, no, seriously. It's content
I'm already
only.
walking around with myself all day.
Yeah.
That's true. And I want to thank a fella who listens on the Patreon. He goes by Gay Sutton, G Sutton.
Wow.
Yay. Wow.
Gay Sutton. And he sent us pictures from the Bigfoot Festival and everyone else who sent in your emails.
There's a Bigfoot festival?
There's
Are
so
you
many of them.
invited?
No, it's my people, though.
Yeah.
And I would like to go.
Not a Bigfoot in sight, though.
No, they're cryptids and they're hidden.
Yeah.
They're hidden. All right. Well,
So it's a conspirators convention.
it really is.
Okay.
Once you believe in Bigfoot, nothing's off the table.
Nothing matters.
Nothing matters whatsoever. What is real? What is truth? Are we in a simulation? It can lead you down to
Probably.
it. I'm a big fan of the triangle Earth. I'm a Dorito guy.
What?
And so I do believe the Earth is a triangle.
Okay.
And it's peppered with nacho cheese. Well, speaking of peppered,
Wish.
but not with cheese, blood, let's do an update on the Boston Karen Reed trial.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
Gay Patola, Kyle Tola.
Oh.
Don't-
Wokatola, what do you got for
Oh,
us?
my
I'm not the gay
God.
patola.
No, people have said they want Gay Patola to stick.
Yeah.
I don't want that either.
By the way, that G was not gay, son. It was Jeff.
Jeff
I'm
Sutton.
G off.
dead. It's Jeff.
Jeff Sutton.
You Starbucks the name Jeff into gay?
Well, he spells Jeff with a G, so technically, again, sometimes Starbucks employees are completely correct.
Okay.
We're like, you spelled my name wrong because your name isn't Geoff,
Geoff.
which is what Jeff with a G is. Although I love my Jeff with a G's.
I don't
Yeah.
know. Doesn't seem like it.
And for some reason, I think it was more of a indication of where my mind is when I saw the G. My first word was gay.
Wow.
Isn't that interesting? It should be Green Bay Packers. But let's go on.
Yes.
Okay.
Karen Reed.
To Canton, Massachusetts. So there are some updates here this week. The Commonwealth has lost a major battle, specifically the judge, Beverly Cannoni, who is corrupt Cannoni. We all know this. She has it out for the defense. She's very pro-police, even though this case is complete fuckery.
I'll give you a corrupt Caroni.
Yeah.
Sounds like he's...
I'll have one corrupt Coroni, please.
So
Well, that's fine. You sit on a pineapple all wrong.
last trial, they allowed protesters to be outside the court, but then they realized after a while they could hear them inside the courtroom, and they thought it was going to sway the jury because there were so many people showing up being like, this is a bullshit trial.
Got you.
And so Cannoni was like, by the way, you can't protest here anymore. You got to go like 2 miles down the street. There was a buffer zone.
Okay.
Oh, damn.
And
Cannoni buffer zone.
they appealed it to her. She's the one that made the decision. They tried to appeal it. She said, I already made the decision. You go fuck yourself.
Yeah, how can you appeal the decision that she already made?
Well, you can move, you can make motions and all that stuff. So
I'll make a motion right now.
yeah, motion of the ocean.
We got Ben Kissel in a kitty tub making motions.
Wow.
Bring that into the courtroom.
Whoop whoop.
I'm on fire.
Let's not.
And then when she denied that, they actually went to a higher court, and that court ruled that they had to be allowed their First Amendment rights outside the courtroom. So they are now allowed back in.
And of course, the higher court, the judges are Method Man and Cheech and Chong.
Hey!
Again, why is it so good all the time? Continue on, Kyle.
They also had the medical examiner who did the autopsy on John O'Keefe, and she said there were injuries inconsistent with being hit by a car.
Okay.
And they were like, but did the troopers tell you that there were people at the scene that said she hit the guy with the car? And she goes, yeah, they told me that.
Yeah, but they're all drunk and stupid
And
and, lying.
they
So
also
that ends-
weren't there.
Exactly. That ends up being devastating to the case because they thought she was going to say no to play ball with them. Because if she didn't know that someone admitted to doing it, wink, wink, then, she didn't have all the information. But she goes, yeah, I had that information. Still, it's not a homicide or a car accident.
Yeah.
So what was the information she had?
She was told by the troopers, the corrupt troopers, that there was a woman there screaming, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him. And she still didn't change. She still said it was undetermined because she even though having that information, she was like, this does not match a car accident.
So it helps the defense.
Big
Yeah.
time.
Big
Yeah.
time.
It really, it fucks over the Commonwealth, and it felt so good.
All right.
Oh, well, that's good.
So it looks like Karen Reed might be getting some justice.
Yeah, there's a lot of losses for the Commonwealth this week.
Oh, man. I love that they retried this.
Yeah.
All right, we'll keep you updated on what's going on. That story is all over the place. Speaking of a very short update, I know we have a lot of people who are in Tory Lanez's corner. Some people say a girl fired the gun.
Ooh.
Who says that?
That's somebody in the comment section.
Yeah.
But anyway, he's not going to die. He's going to live. So he'll probably get stabbed again at some point in prison.
That's good.
When you are incarcerated, do you even want to live, or do you want to go to the freedom that is the sky?
Ooh.
I know. I mean, it's got to be creepy scary to know that you got to go back out there.
Right
back into the wild that chewed you up and spit you out.
Exactly. All right. Well, Karen Reed, and I suppose in some ways Tory Lanez, although love has nothing to do with either.
There's a lot of love.
There's love with there's love with Karen Reed's story. It was her ex. Oh.
Yeah, that's true. True. Death. Apparently, new research has come out, and it has said that people really do die of a broken heart.
Yes.
Oh, really?
Broken heart. It used to just sort of be a cliche. Something that people would say when someone's all sad and then they happen to die when they were sad, even though there's a good chance that you will.
Interesting.
Figure you're probably sad 30% of your life.
Yeah.
30%?
I wish.
That's low.
Yeah.
But you got to remember all the happy times.
So sad.
The sad ones,
All of the
they're just louder.
Yeah.
But there might not be as many in the room, but they're just very loud.
Yeah.
Sad memories,
Is
right?
not in the room with you right now.
Are the sad thoughts screaming?
Well, I really hope not, because I am squonking one. So, according to a new term, and now it's technical, it's called the broken heart syndrome.
Yeah.
And it's very real. It is officially Takotsubo cardiomyopathy.
Oh, Taco Tuesday myopathy?
That's exactly what I heard. That is exactly what I heard.
You're all hungry. Takotsubo cardiomyopathy. That is the official diagnosis for dying of a broken heart.
Wow.
How does it work, one might ask? It is caused by stress hormones like adrenaline that stop the heart from properly contracting. So when you have, again, a devastating news like, Bert, I'm breaking up with you because I'm going to go have sex with Stan because Stan just won the lottery and you didn't, Bert. And then Bert's like, oh, I'm so sad. And then he goes to the toilet and then he has a massive Takotsubo cardiomyopathy.
Oh, wow.
And then he dies right there and then.
That's what happened with Padme when they told her that Anakin killed all those kids.
Did she die of a broken heart?
She died of a broken heart.
Padme.
There was like that robot that was like trying to like save her after the childbirth, and they were like, nothing's wrong with her, but I think she died of a broken heart.
Make sure to check out the Death and Entertainment this week where we discuss some of the tragic ends of the actors that played in Star Wars.
Yes.
So it's a serious condition brought on by a very stressful situation and extreme emotions.
Oh.
This is why everyone needs a little dabble of Lexapro, a little dabble of Wellbutrin, and let things slide off your back slightly more like a turtle in the ocean.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I definitely catastrophize things all of the time. So it's like I get how it brings you down. Sometimes it doesn't allow you to heal properly from things.
Sure.
So, especially like physical wounds.
Sure.
Your knee is hurting. You just had knee surgery.
Yep.
You're all miserable. The knee it's not going to heal for months.
It won't. And I have a horrible right knee. I have no idea why. I think I've been sleeping on it wrong. And
How do you sleep on your knee wrong?
Good question. And I also have some football injuries that are what is called nagging. So
Okay.
the syndrome does happen more often to women. Okay.
That makes sense.
However,
I'm so sensitive.
more men actually die from it.
Yeah. Because men
wow.
actually love.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay. So it's not like a real.
And how many more men die from it?
All of them.
All of them.
Twice as many.
Of course.
Wow.
Twice as many men. This is according to the Journal of American Heart Association. So they're very serious about heart stuff.
Okay. They know.
They know all about the heart stuff.
We're the heart people.
They are the heart people. So it's an interesting point. The study has made that broken heart syndrome, quote, is triggered by emotional stress predominantly in women or physical stress predominantly in men. So men feel less of the emotional aspects of going through a traumatic breakup and more of the physical, like, oh God, I just got shot with a heart gun.
Well, it's also because they keep everything bottled up inside.
Yes, because we have to. Because
You'd rather have a stroke than cry about things.
No.
Well, yeah, if we actually cried in front of a woman, they'd be like, you're a pussy.
You're
That's
a pussy.
not
You're disgusting.
true. Okay, first
No, they
of
lose a
all,
little respect.
They do?
We were just talking about this the other day. Guys cry more in front of women than they do in front of other men.
That's true.
Because they don't feel safe around other men because they sound like you, Kyle, you fucking puss.
No, it's women that do it.
Well,
Not women that do it. They feel safer, like they can, talk and confide and with women. And
But then they learn quickly that they're downgraded in their opinion.
who's downgrading you,
there's a
Kyle?
difference. May I just point? There is a difference between crying and blubbering.
Oh my
The
god!
blubbering. We showed Kyle Rittenhouse, the guy in Wisconsin,
Yeah.
when he was on the stand, he blubbered,
Yeah,
and you can never come back from that.
you can't come back from a blubber.
You can't come back from a blubber.
especially a post-murder blubber.
And I will say, when men do express emotions, then all of a sudden people get mad at them for that. But anyway, I digress.
I don't know. You guys, honestly, it always boils down to you guys are actually not emoting enough.
Okay. Well, God knows when we do emote, then all of a sudden we get chastised for it.
Who's doing this?
Researchers observed almost 2,000 patients older than 18 years old diagnosed with the condition from 2016 to 2020. The study found that the mortality rate of broken-hearted men was 11.2% compared to only 5.5% of female patients. So does that mean you got a 1 in 10 chance of the fella that you're breaking up with dying?
Maybe.
Is that what that means?
Yeah. He might not survive this.
If you break their heart,
I mean, that's kind of the best of all worlds, isn't it?
I constantly get my heart broken. I'm like, it's a heartbreak city over here.
It is Heartbreak City.
Yeah, but I just, cry it out.
Yeah, Jerry and I were both laughing at ourselves because I was telling her when I was driving from Brooklyn to Los Angeles that maybe I'll meet a nice lady here.
Yeah, I remember the same thing.
Isn't that funny?
It is.
Yes. Researchers, they said that those who died most likely suffered complications from the condition, aka the irregular heartbeat, which causes cardiac arrest, which then leads to heart failure and stroke, because men simply cannot deal with loss and pain as well as women.
That's wild. I feel like I deal with loss and pain so hard because things do hit me really hard. I get very affected.
Oh, I know.
I don't like to throw around words like people are like, I'm an empath. But I'm just highly sensitive. My emotional intelligence runs deep.
It does.
And
it does.
shit hurts. I feel things. I feel things hard.
I am, as the famous band Red Hot Chili Peppers says, I'm full of scar tissue.
Oh.
Scar tissue.
Yeah.
I wish you saw.
I really am happy that nobody sees it. I'd look like some kid in the movie Mask, where that redhead had a fucked up face, even though he was a really good guy.
Okay.
So they say, this is according to Dr. Ilan Wittstein. So
Okay.
they're all smart.
That's a fun name.
Yeah, they're a cardiologist at Johns Hopkins Medicine. They say men may be more at risk for dying and having bad outcomes because they're less susceptible to begin with. So it makes a more dangerous trigger to precipitate, kind of weather talk, to precipitate the syndrome.
Okay.
So men, again, I think we don't feel, perhaps some men, we can't speak for all men, but maybe they don't go through the small slices of pain every day. So they got it all in one dose.
Yeah.
Like a hot shot.
Yep.
Next thing you know, you're dying like John Belushi
Wow.
of a broken heart
And what a way to go.
or heroin and cocaine, a.k.a. a speedball.
Hey.
Okay. That's not exactly a broken heart, but yeah.
No, I don't think he was too happy,
They
though.
were like, oh no, he died of a broken heart. Is that not technically a drug overdose? He's like, yeah, but he drug overdosed because his heart was broken.
That's what they said about Johnny Cash. But as I mentioned, they also said it was because June wasn't there to give him his medication, which is also a reason men die. According to Dr. Susan Cheng, she says, as we advance in age and take on more life and work responsibilities, we experience higher stress levels.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, I would say as life goes on and you continue to grow, you're like, wow, I am fucking stressed out about this living here thing.
It's just bizarre. I remember growing up and just being like, taxes are like that. It's like mythical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then all the stuff that your parents used to be like, whoa, April's a rough month.
Yeah.
I don't know why Dad is crying at the table. Why is he saying we're going to have to sell our house? I'm here. I'm living in it.
Right.
And then you start to realize it does just get more and more difficult. That's why when I was a kid, I go through every phase of my life at 100%. And when I was a kid, I was like, I'm enjoying it. I was never one of those kids who was like, I can't wait to be an adult clicking their pens and shit.
Oh, I did.
You wanted to be an adult when you were a kid?
Yeah.
I just felt like an adult as a kid.
I hated school.
I was already kind of depressed about things.
Well, yeah, naturally.
I had some existentialism going on.
Yeah. Yes.
It made me feel like I was like grieving some past life shit that I did.
But you could also then go play with toys and kind of forget about it and be Batman for a while.
Yeah, I think so.
You know, I had a lot of imaginary friends. I didn't have any real friends.
I had a lot of stuffed animals.
Yeah, I don't even know if you two are here.
I made my language. I made my own language up.
I did a little bit of a click-clack language myself.
Yes.
Quite fun. So they say, and with increasing digitization around every aspect of our lives, environmental stresses have also become intensified. So kind of what we were talking about in the last episode with social media, and sometimes you read stuff on social media about you, and then it really makes you all sad, and then sometimes you end up taking your own life or dying of a broken heart condition.
Yeah.
Oh.
So what can you do? Sleep. They say just go to sleep.
Yeah.
Oh.
Which I totally agree with.
That's so, yeah, that's how I solve so many problems.
I cannot tell you how much I love you're stressed, days are bad, go to bed.
Go to sleep.
Yeah, I think Louis C.K. said it. Naps are like suicides you could take back.
That's a good point.
It's horrifying, but I like it.
Yep. There was also one of the clips that I saw about one of these people in India, and he said, sometimes your day is just fucked.
Yeah.
Like, has
Yeah.
your day been bad? It's fucked. Go to bed. Start tomorrow.
Yep.
Yep.
Because I love going to bed. So they say just take a freaking nap and that's going to lower your risk of developing heart-related issues. It's the easiest way to do it.
Oh, that's fantastic. So my heart's going to be just fine because I take so many naps.
But that's because you don't sleep at night.
Oh, yeah. I'm a little bit of a night owl.
Yeah, so am I. I was up until 8 o'clock in the morning yesterday.
Jesus.
I guess today.
Yeah.
Playing Days Gone, killing zombies. Days Gone Remastered, one of my favorite games of all time.
Uh-oh.
So they say, with this study, we have improved our understanding of what role the amount of sleep we get and how it plays into cardiovascular health. So this is really a health corner here on OK Bud.
Yeah.
We're going to keep you alive one nap at a time.
Yeah, we sure are.
I love that.
Yeah, that's great.
They say it's important to point out that studies have also shown that if physical exercise can offset some of these, but exercise or take a nap, I'm just going to take a nap.
Probably gonna
If they're both going to help my heart,
Yeah.
no, I'm going to take a nap.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take a nap.
I'll dream about exercise.
Sometimes I like to go for a little run, get the endorphins going.
Yeah.
Sometimes I like to completely shut down and be like, let's do that later.
I almost broke into a jog the other day.
Almost.
I found myself walking because I can walk real fast with big old legs like Michael Myers, and I found myself saying, "This is borderline jog."
No?
You're like, am I going a little bit faster than usual?
I slowed myself down a little bit.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to blow it all in one load.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So they say exercise can offset at least some of the negative effects that poor sleep can cause, but it's also important to note that exercise cannot replace the essential functions of sleep. So when people come after you and they say, all you do is nap all day, you say, gosh darn right, doctor's orders.
Yep, totally. And if
Saving my heart.
and if you're in high school and you just fall asleep in class, you're
Do
like,
it.
I am trying to save my heart here. All right, this was important for me to get through the rest of this class.
Abso-frickin-lutely. And if you are real smart, you can sleep in school.
Oh, totally.
Pop the hoodie up if you're allowed to even wear hoodies anymore. I don't even know what the rules are. It's so crazy. But you can sneak in a good 15-minute power nap. Also, if you are a horrible student like I am, when you nap, the teachers are actually happy.
Oh, yeah, totally. Because you finally shut up.
Yep. They're like, sweet. Kissel's out.
Yeah.
Good work on the trank.
Yep.
Don't wake that big bastard up. He's horrible. All right.
You're
So anyway,
not so bad.
I was in high school.
Oh, man.
was-
Ben in high school, that must have been a trip.
I was voted loudest, rowdiest, and class clown, and I missed out by a class rebel by 3 votes.
Damn.
That's the only one I wanted.
Want to
Yeah,
recount?
it makes sense that you wouldn't get it, though.
I know, because I wasn't class rebel enough because I
Yeah, you
wanted
weren't
it.
rebel.
No, the biggest rebel thing is not to win class rebel.
Exactly.
No, that's not true.
That's
It's to win
this.
class rebel.
That's the best.
That's a loser.
I don't even want it.
Yeah.
That's how much of a rebel I am. I didn't even want the class rebel because I'm too much of a
whoever
rebel.
won the rebel thing definitely is annoyed about it and was like, "Pfft, you guys, I don't even care.
You're falling in line if you want the top rebel.
Yeah.
I don't even want this award. It's like, give me the award. I want the fucking award.
I want it so bad.
I hate all of the awards, but I'll take them.
But I want them
If I was nominated for an award, that's why I don't want to be nominated.
because then you just want to win.
Because I'm a psychopath.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then you're like, I'll do anything to be. I'll stop rebelling. I swear to God, I'll stop rebelling if I get best rebel.
I remove my vocal cords so I can't even scream when you gag me with your big old cock and balls.
Wow.
That took a turn.
Well,
Gay-
that's how you get.
Gay again.
That's how you get the EGOT.
The what?
The EGOT,
EGOT.
Oh,
That's a
right.
Emmy,
That's how
Grammy,
you go the whole fucking
Tony,
way over.
which is
Yeah.
also the
Oscar.
kind of the sound
Yes.
you make when you're sucking off a producer.
Egot.
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 Is there a pelican down there?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
Wow.
Okay, let's move on. So for all those suffering from a broken heart, as all of us have gone through and will go through again one way or another, let's just remember, namaste, take a nap.
Exactly.
Take
oh
a
my
nap.
God.
I love the
completely.
idea. I love that this is for the first time Big Pharma isn't touching this.
Yeah.
For the first time, they're just like, God, we got this.
Yeah.
Take a-
Go to frickin' sleep.
Get some blackout curtains for yourself.
Oh, those
Oh
are.
my God. I need some.
I got
in
them
my
everywhere
life.
in my place.
You know,
I do not.
I think I'm actually very scared of the dark. That's why I stay up all night. I like the light.
Wow.
Because I'm like, oh, now no one can hurt me. I think I was molested.
I hate the
It's
night.
ju- I like the nighttime because it feels like all the noise. I feel like everyone else in the world fell asleep, and I can finally do my own thing on my own time, and I don't feel the rat race of everyone's mental energy being all awake and shit. I'm like, no, none of this.
Completely agree. And this is where two opposite types The Venn diagram is hours 4 a.m. to 6 a.m. because you got the early risers who wake up at 4 a.m. because they like the world is asleep.
Yeah.
And you got the people who just stayed up that late because they like the world is asleep.
Yep.
So that is an interesting little, aren't we all the same? At least 2 hours a day.
Oh.
All right. Well, let's move on to a story about a fella who found a tool shed and decided to play with God's tool, a.k.a. his penis.
Quit whacking off in my tool shed.
What?
His name is James Calabasas.
Okay.
He sounds sort of romantic. He's 66 years old. He's from Georgia. So he was arrested for obscenity after police said he was pleasuring himself in a Lowe's home department store in Louisiana.
Oh.
It's not in the store, it was in the shed.
It
Was a display shed, and he was displaying himself.
Oh my
Display shed.
God.
Yeah.
He was trying them all out, and he was, because that's exactly what he was going to do in the shed. And he
Yeah.
was like, well, let's see how this feels out. Kind of like when you like run around and like jump on a bunch of couches and beds.
Yeah.
See which one is comfortable. He's like jerking off, and he's like, this one is okay. The tone is off.
Yeah.
Yeah, you really do want a nice tan and taupe.
Yeah.
And you want to have a wall that's going to be able to take tape well, because you want to put up all your nudie mags. Because this guy's 66, he's old
there
school.
you go. Yeah, for sure.
So he wants to do a prison style with nudie mags on the wall, and then he beats off
Yep.
to those probably pictures of Pamela Anderson and the Barbie twins.
Electra.
Get out of my
Electra.
jerk shack!
Get out of my jerk shack, which is also a great name for a restaurant.
The jerk shack.
The jerk shack. So it's about it's a chicken then, or no?
Nah, dude.
It's not. It's Robert.
It's gherkin.
Also, speaking of the Barbie twins, I was reading there's a surgery out called the Barbie model, the Barbie waist, and people are removing their ribs.
Oh my God.
So don't do that.
They're going all Marilyn Manson on this?
Yeah, just keep your ribs in there.
Yeah, just leave them.
I don't know what's going on.
It's weird how bones were already made in our bodies, so it's like they're important or something.
Yeah, we're all full of skeletons.
Yeah.
It's kind of creepy.
Don't remove pieces of it.
No. So this was in Slidell, Louisiana, which I believe is the home of House of a Thousand Corpses. I think that's where the clown, what's the name? What's the name of my...
Sid something?
Sid Haig.
Yes.
Captain Spaulding.
Yes.
Ah.
I believe he's from Slidell, Louisiana in that series.
Oh.
So cops were called after a 911 call of a naked man inside a small shed. The shed, of course, is for sale, so no word if this is going to up the value or lower the value. After examining several sheds, so they went shed to shed.
You want the display?
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
He really was trying out sheds.
I mean, this is the equivalent of going to a guitar store and trying to play Stairway.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
They don't like it.
No plans there.
They don't want you to do that.
No jerking off in the sheds. It says so right there on the sign.
So these officers, like the video game Doom, but instead of killing aliens, they're going to find an old dude jerking off in a shed. They went shed to shed.
Wow.
That's hilarious. Like a hide and seek.
Just look for the shed that has the moaning coming from
Yeah,
it.
seriously. Just hear the one was like.
The one that's shaking like the house is in Dick Tracy, for crying out loud.
Yep.
So after examining several sheds, they went to a lot of sheds. An officer discovered the fella lying on his back on the floor in one unit.
Lying on the floor.
He was really into it. Dude, this is crazy. This guy treated himself with a lot of love and respect.
Yeah.
So his pants were around his ankles.
There's like candles around him and shit.
Well, there was a full bottle of Vaseline by his side.
Oh my!
Wow.
So it was probably just loud.
And he probably got that in one of the aisles. At
He
the
may
same
have.
Store.
He may have.
Yeah.
Dude, when they can hear you jerking from the shack in the store, that's bad.
Yeah.
That's a lot of lube right there.
He's living like the mean character in Of Mice and Men who used to wear a glove in his hand because it had Vaseline, and he used that for finger banging.
Wow.
That's true. Also, Lenny was not as stupid as people think, and maybe Rabbit's necks need to be stronger.
It just loves it too much.
He did love it too much, and I'm a little bit annoyed by him still, and everyone knows the plight of the big man. They try to ruin my life.
Yeah.
Yes.
These littles try to ruin my life. Let me be.
Hey.
Let me hug this rabbit.
But now this guy does deserve a little criticism, again, because he's in a public shed that he didn't buy on his back, jerking off, using Vaseline, not even raw dogging.
I don't know why in my head I pictured he was standing up because I guess he'd be ready to go just in case.
Well, sometimes you're so overpowered with pleasure you can't even stand.
You're just like, you know what? Let me just really lean into this.
Well, it was strange because you would think you'd be watching hardcore smut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was watching YouTube.
What was he watching on YouTube?
He was watching this show.
No, he
I mean, we just have, it's just audio.
Oh my
It's just audio.
God. You wish, Kyle.
He's one of the Patreoners. I guess to see the video.
Well, thank you. Thank you. So, if you would do that, thanks for the $10 a month.
Actually, that'd be pretty fun.
We're not bailing you out.
Yeah, well, I would. I would do anything for our Patreoners. So he was arrested for obscenity and then booked in the county jail. Yeah. He's the resident of Jasper, Georgia, which is about 60 miles away. So he had a whole thing.
He had a plan.
There are guys that'll drive like across the state to go to like a gay club so they don't know anyone, but just in case he got in trouble for jerking off in a shed. He did the same
He
thing.
crossed state lines.
Yeah.
Well, maybe if they found him in a different place, maybe he's already jerked off in all the sheds and all
You think, yeah.
the department stores that offer sheds in his state. And
Oh,
he's
the
like,
Home
well, I
Depots
gotta
are all
try.
done.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, and as we've
Tried him out.
As we learned from that young woman who broke into the home of the three bears, sometimes you've got to find the shed that's just right.
Goldilocks.
Yes.
was
Too
in
hot,
a
too warm,
Goldilocks
too cold. And he's like, "Oh, this shed's just right."
Yep. He found it. He seems to have found it.
So good for him in a sense. It's not the biggest crime. They are charging him with like public indecency, but technically the door was closed.
Yeah. How public was it?
I mean, anyone could have walked in, I guess, if you're looking to buy a shed and you're like, does he come with it? Because then I'm definitely buying it. Why not?
He's free with the help.
The shack must have been just shaking.
I mean,
That's the real Shake Shack.
well, now the fact,
But he was on the floor.
yeah, now that he's on the
Yeah,
floor,
but
I
he's
realize
still-
he's not. No, it's less shaking when he's on the floor.
That's true.
So, anyway, interesting.
Wow.
Interesting story. You never know. Checking your grandpa. What's he doing?
Check in on your grandpas, guys.
Grandpa's going to Lowe's quite often. Where's all the Vaseline in the house? Also, Vaseline is really not the thing you want
No.
because it gets a little sticky.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. He just wants that. He wants that kind of grip.
Yeah. All right. Well, speaking of old people, we have two stories from retirement homes, and neither of them are that compelling. But it's interesting. So the first one is right here in California. A man hurled his girlfriend off a senior living complex balcony
Holy shit.
and killed her.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So the girlfriend was elderly as well?
Yeah. So witnesses called 911 at 7:30 p.m. and they say they saw a dude who threw a woman from a third-story balcony at the senior living complex.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and then so that was all bad. And then when officers arrived, they identified 61-year-old Irene Williams in the courtyard with severe head trauma and a broken femur, so she's dead.
Wow.
And then her boyfriend, Albert Turner, who was 57, he was arrested. Apparently, the two had an argument, which led to Williams throwing things at her and then throwing her off a railing of the balcony corridor.
Yeah, you know, when you're throwing things at people, you're trying to find like things to throw, and then you just find like your girlfriend, and you're like, fuck it, I'll throw that.
Right, I guess so, yeah.
Yeah.
So Turner then threw Williams over the railing onto the concrete, and again, that is where she died. So these senior living facilities,
There's a lot of chaos going on in there.
there's a lot going on. It's not just men killing women. It's also women killing men.
Really?
Oh.
There's a Jacksonville senior living facility where a 68-year-old woman was arrested for stabbing an elderly man to death inside the facility.
Jesus.
The Jacksonville Sheriff's Department was called to a senior facility. It was in Norfolk Boulevard. They found a 73-year-old named Robert Tucker in the lobby with multiple stab wounds, and he was dead at the scene.
Oh, dang.
Officers then followed the trail of blood to Tucker's unit at the facility where the suspect, Carol, her name is Carol.
Her name is Carol twice.
It's Carol with one L and then Carol with two R's and two L's.
The new
What?
Sirhan.
What? Well, maybe
She didn't do it either.
Maybe it's Carol Corral.
Maybe Carol Carral. After speaking with Carral,
Either way,
or
her
Carol-
parents are dicks for that.
It's people do that.
Yeah.
People do that.
Carl Carlson.
It works though. Carl Carlson actually sounds good. Robbie Robertson of the band.
Robbie Robertson. That's
Very
silly.
famous singer, stole the money from Levon Helms, but that's okay. After speaking with Carol, the reviewing evidence of the property, homicide detectives arrested her and charged her with Tucker's murder. So, in a sense, you know, we know that old people are fucking in there.
Oh,
Yeah.
We know that old people are doing, heinous things.
Drugs.
Drugs, drinking.
Mm-hmm.
My grandmother used to keep a bottle of gin under her bed because she liked to get the guys drunk so she could do diddling with them.
Oh my God.
Whoa.
That's That's wow.
I've told this story 1,000 times,
She's
but
a pimp.
she was. And Lillian, at her funeral, it was so funny because the pastor, this chick, was like, she loved everybody, and she's like, she hated everyone, and she was just like hate fueled her entire life. I mean, it was her nickname for my little brother was Squirrel because she hated squirrels.
Wow. Oh,
Yeah,
that one. Okay,
that one.
I do remember that.
She called my uncle when they were doing room raids at a facility which she was at in Minnesota, and she was like, "You got to get the gin." Okay. And my uncle's like, "Why do you have gin?" She's like, "I give it to the band. I give it to the men."
I give it to the men. Wow.
What a little slut.
Oh man.
Good for her.
But I'm telling you, these senior facilities, they ain't what they used to be.
And now they're murder zones. Now everyone's like, I don't give a fuck. We can take this to the death, dude. It was a couple of months anyway.
Seriously.
It's like we don't have that much time. Let's deal with this like men.
Jerry, you make such a valid point. And I have said this before. I do think you should take into account how many years the person would have left after you killed them. So if you kill a kid, you got a 5-year-old, let's just say the average life expectancy is 75, you're going to get 70 years.
Yeah.
But if you kill a 70-year-old, you get 5 years. Because odds are there would be dead. Anyway, right?
Something like that, yeah. Like, sir, he was already experiencing a lot of pain.
Well, let's
a
just
lot
look.
of respiratory problems.
I shouldn't be in prison for longer than he would have been alive had he died of natural causes.
I think if someone's in like hospice, because there was that guy, they were both an old couple, and he broke his wife out of a hospice facility.
Romantic?
Yes, and they did drugs together until she died.
Wow.
And like,
I love that.
Yeah, it's great, but then he got arrested and had to go to prison.
Why?
So for that should be the defense that's invoked for sure.
Yeah, it's like we knew we were on our way out, so we were just giving ourselves a little assist.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not for state-sponsored suicide because that's something that the state doesn't, whatever.
Yeah, the assisted suicide thing is weird.
I guess the one thing about it is if you do commit suicide, then your family can't get a bunch of money and stuff, so that should probably change.
Yeah.
But anyway, however a couple wants to go out, as long as they both agree.
You know?
But when does a couple really agree on anything, especially
like
that?
the two guys from The Last of Us.
Oh, did they?
They pretty much lived through the entire zombie apocalypse, and then they were like old, and I think like one of them got cancer, and then they were like, well, yeah, let's just take ourselves out.
No, does The Last of Us have any incest?
No, I don't
Thank
believe
God.
so. Just a lot of
Just
gay
gay
shit.
relationships.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. I grew up in a queer home. My life is surrounded by gay relationships.
Ron Swanson is fingering guys and stuff.
Ron Swanson
One
does?
guy. He was in love with one man.
Yeah.
It was a beautiful romance
It
story.
was.
Ron Swanson?
Yeah, he was
Is he
one
Ron
of
Swanson
the dudes.
Is he Ron Swanson?
He was not Ron Swanson in the show. It's Nick Offerman, the guy
Yes.
that played Ron Swanson.
And he fingered a guy?
Andy got
played
fingered.
He played one of the guys
Nick
that were
Offerman
the
did?
gay couple. Yeah, and he did an absolutely stunning job.
Why do I feel like this is like my most aggressive uncle coming home and saying he's gay?
No,
Like, I
it's-
didn't think that was going to happen.
No, it's more like your favorite uncle's coming home and saying, "Hey, I did a job as an actor where I played a gay man."
Oh, let's move on. Well, good for him, and I love that.
Oh, you got to see that episode. It's fucking.
So he fingers
Brilliant.
it's his butt that gets fingered.
There's no fingering
Well, why did-
displayed
why
on
did
the
Kyle
show.
Cullen say that
He's
then?
saying probably
It's
there
a
was
milking.
some fingers because
Oh, he was
of
milked. I see.
what?
You can milk the male prostate.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
Yeah, you can.
Can we just move on?
Let's move on to UFOs. Speaking of milking, why are they coming here? Do they want our seed?
No.
Yes, they do. They scrape them and scrape them and scrape them.
They
What?
scrape your testicles?
Oh, no. Oh, yeah. They jerk off the guys and put the semen in little vials. They scrape all the eggs from the women. They're trying to create a super race of people
Scrape.
or entity.
Ooh.
Where are you getting this information?
It's all in my head.
Oh, okay.
It's all in my head.
My dreams.
My dreams, my head, it comes from the Lord. It goes right to my brain. It comes right through my mouth.
With zero filter. That makes sense.
There's no border control.
Yeah.
Why? Because no thoughts are illegal. So, an Army veteran and former border control agent has revealed shocking and unexplained sightings taking place on the U.S. southern border. This is why
Let's
I'm
go.
so sick of people referring to undocumented folks as aliens, because it's going to confuse us when there's actual extraterrestrials.
Yeah.
Come on.
We're being attacked by aliens. Like, dude, that's not nice. They're doing their best to request asylum.
That's
No,
Hector.
Like
No,
real
not that!
aliens. No.
Actual aliens.
Leave Jose alone.
They're gaping me. Guy's name is Bob Thompson. He spent 14 years on
Not Tom Bobson.
Not Tom Bobson.
Rob Thompson.
Bob Thompson. He spent 14 years with the U.S. Customs and Border Protection. He has now said that he has seen UFOs spotted near Arizona. The unidentified object, it's called the cigar.
Oh, yeah, it looks like a big poop.
Yeah, it could be
okay.
called the shit. Could be, but they're going to go with the cigar.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
It was captured in 2020, right? And then Thompson, he's now coming forward, and he is speaking to news outlets that the UFO had a short cylindrical body with
Cylindrical?
yes, ma'am, with no visible wings or propellers. Moreover,
Oh.
the CBP cameras didn't even see a visible heat trail from an engine. Ooh. So it was just floating up there like a goddamn cigar tic-tac.
Crazy, crazy technology.
And we know it's not a real cigar because heat comes from cigars because you light them and smoke them.
Yes. Smoke comes out one end, and something else goes out the other.
Is this sex? Are we talking about sex?
Oh, I was talking about poop.
Oh, I see. Thompson said he has spoken to more than 100 agents who also witnessed the strange event. This is so much more exciting than being like, can I see your papers? Or you here? I'd be like, look to the skies, bro. We got some aliens coming in.
Yeah, it's like there's more new information coming to light, man.
According to the whistleblower, he says, I've seen orbs that were off in the distance. I've seen crafts that were cigar-shaped. I've even seen triangles.
Why is he being called a whistleblower?
Because he's blowing the whistle. He's saying, I don't know how to whistle. That's really good.
Yeah.
Something to see here. Foul. Foul.
Yeah.
And oftentimes whistleblowers are killed.
Wow. Yes,
Yes.
that's true.
It happens all the
He
freaking
has to
time.
be an-
Shout out to Boeing.
Boeing kills a lot.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Remember the Boeing whistleblowers who all ended up dead? Good God.
So creepy.
Although many of the accounts have been dismissed as drones, they do a lot of dismissing, likely flown by drug cartels trying to sneak into the U.S. They're very good now, these cartels. They're using drones.
They're
for shit.
not now. They're just dressing their drugs up as a giant cigar and just throwing them out. Into
Yeah. That would be kind of fun if all of a sudden you just got like, oh, package delivered, just a bunch of heroin from
Yeah.
Tijuana via drone. Thompson claimed that there was more going on than just illegal immigration and drug trafficking. He says no one likes to talk about it freely. I think it's just a taboo subject. The never before seen footage was taken months after another UFO sighting. That took place November 2019 when a bunch of people saw a UFO in Arizona's Buenos Aires National Wildlife Area.
Oh snap! And what shape was that one?
Cigar.
That one was also a cigar.
Similar to the cigar UFO, it had no visible heat trail.
Ah.
And, I'm sorry, it's not so much a cigar. They say it looks like a rubber duck.
Oh,
What?
nice.
You sure that one wasn't like a cloud?
It's from Ernie.
It would be so funny if they came on big rubber ducks.
That'd be hilarious.
Got a UFO, Bert.
One person, just like one alien, came to Earth and found a random rubber duck and was like, "I think this is the vessel that they use. We should model it like this."
And then he just watches Batman 2.
Yeah.
He's like, the penguin uses a rubber duck. Why don't I have a rubber duck? So there has been a deafening silence from the heads, from the people on top. They are not talking about this whatsoever, which means it's 100% real, and there's a bunch of UFOs out there. As you can see here, Miss Aquino, that is the rubber duck UFO.
Let me see. Wait, hold on.
I'm sorry, it looks.
Oh wow, it does look like a rubber duck.
Very clear.
It's
It's a clear rubber duck.
it is pretty clear rubber duck.
It is clearly a rubber duck.
Yeah.
I feel
What
like-
else would it be?
no.
Look at this thing.
It could also, I don't know. It also looks like a white blob.
Enough about me.
Yes. Absolutely. So now we have the cigar and the rubber duck. No word if the rubber duck smokes said cigars. There are also a bunch of different things happening involving these weird circles. These are just strange circles that are appearing in the sky and nobody knows why.
Oh my god! Now that's fucking creepy.
It's a hairband.
It looks like a large hairband, but people have no clue what it is. According to Thompson, he says, I got told that they witnessed a portal opening up in the sky,
No.
and there were pictures of it on a camera that I was able to see. So they're speculating that this is a portal Perhaps into another dimension.
No way.
That's what they be saying.
Another universe, maybe.
That's what they be saying.
Wow. And it looks all black and smoky, and there's no entrance point, there's no exit point. It's just randomly in the sky like that.
Randomly in the sky like that. It's freaking trippy. It's
Yeah.
trippy stuff. And in January 19th of this very year, an unidentified object actually struck an F-16 Viper fighter jet.
Ooh.
It damaged the canopy,
Whoa.
and then it forced the $63 million aircraft to land. So they're like, shit, dude. Someone's hitting our canopy.
Dude, what is this?
I don't know.
They need to just come out. Just show me your face.
But the problem with the UFO community is because they're such sweaty nerds and they're always eating Cheetos and doing greasy stuff. Then they'll be like, "Yeah, that's more disinformation." So there's going to be no people in the once the dog catches the car, what's it going to do with it? Put its stick in a tailpipe?
Pee in it?
Pee in it? Sure. So basically, nothing good.
Yeah.
So these ufologists, I think they need it to constantly be a mystery.
Are
Otherwise,
they called ufologists?
ufologists, unemployed, single.
Ufologism.
Yeah, it's a whole thing, and I do have some respect for some of them.
Okay.
But a lot of them, again, are just sort of grumps because they hate everyone and everything, except for UFOs, and I also think they kind of hate those. It's kind of bizarre. It's a whole interesting world. So if someone did come out and say we have definitive evidence of a UFO, people would be like, smoke screen, more government lies. So you're never going to, it's up to you to make the decision.
Yeah.
Do you want to believe or do you not want to believe?
You can believe.
I mean, it's getting to the point now where as everybody is their own documentarian of their own life via their cell phones, what are you going to do? What the hell is that shit?
I can never pull out my phone in time to catch anything. People are so good at catching things on their phones.
Yes. Oh, I'm so bad at it.
Every time I whip my phone, I'm like,
Yep.
hey, that's a thing. I should catch that on video. As soon as I'm whipping my phone out, it's already ending, and I'm like, oh, never mind.
There was an interaction that Jerry was having with a bumblebee the other day.
Oh.
And it was super cute. The bee was nectar. It was looking for nectar. Oh. And then Jerry was like, "What you doing?"
Dog Jerry.
Dog Jerry, not human Jerry. She's not allowed in the front yard anymore.
Yeah.
After the incident. We don't talk about
Where
it.
a cigar-shaped UFO showed up.
Yeah, that was pretty identifiable, judging by the corn.
God.
But I was like,
Guys.
sweet, I got to get this shot. And then, no, of course, everything evaporated and it was like it never happened.
Yeah, that sucks.
All right.
One day we'll get a little faster at that. Maybe it's a millennial thing.
Maybe it is. Also, for some reason, I can't get my code in right. As Jerry said, my code is also like 10 letters, or numbers.
Why do you guys need so many numbers?
It's just
for
what
that
it does
frickin'
now.
pin?
I just wanted it to be 4.
You can toggle the option for it to go back to 4.
You lost me a toggle.
Toggle this.
All right. Well, just lastly, before we close out this weekend, I want to talk to you about self-worth.
Oh, well, that's
And
good.
it does not matter.
Around.
It does not matter how the world views you. It's about how you view the world because you create your own reality.
Ooh.
Ooh.
And there's a person in the business, very famous radio personality named Howard Stern. We've all
Never heard of him.
Yeah. At this point, I've never heard of who he is now because it's insane. I don't know what happened to the man.
I know, right?
He brags about going to therapy all the time, but he still has a character trait that I think is unbelievably flawed. He calls himself the king of all media, and he was talking about not going to a Knicks game because he doesn't feel like he's going to be given courtside seats.
Okay.
And he said he would rather quit than go to a Knicks game and not have courtside seats because he is so concerned about celebrity and celebrity status and being known as a top-tier A-lister, even though none of these terms matter anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, they really don't, especially after social media became a
It's
thing.
over.
And you can make yourself a star
Exactly.
for absolutely nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
And like you could argue Hawk Tuah is just as famous as Ryan Reynolds.
Wow.
So he says, you can tell your place, this is a quote from Howard Stern, you can tell your place in show business by where they place you at the Knick game.
He doesn't even like sports.
He says the day
That's
they
hilarious.
Right? He says the day they put me in second row, I quit because I consider myself a first row type of person.
We should invite him to the third row. It's like, well, it wasn't the second.
Also, the first row, I would have such social anxiety sitting on courtside. I want to be in the box.
Yeah, I would constantly be afraid that the basketball's coming directly at my face.
The basketball, the cameras. I like to do my art. People's feet. All of a sudden, I trip the player, and it's the biggest game of the year.
Yeah.
And then
Oh my
I'm caused for the
God.
Knicks losing, and I'm chastised like that dude with the Chicago Cubs.
Anxiety.
I want to be in the box like I'm watching from afar, like the owner's box. That's where I want to be.
Yeah, that's the good spot.
Even though he's 71 years old, he's still fucking worried about this, which means the therapy isn't working. And I think oftentimes therapy can just be used to make you a worse person, but that's a whole other thing.
Honestly, sometimes, yeah, and I can imagine that Howard Stern is probably leading all of those sessions, even though he shouldn't be.
Oh, I'm sure he is.
But she's like, well, what do you want to talk about today? And he's like, no, I'm going to tell you what we're going to do today.
Exactly.
It's against the point.
He says, I'm very aware of where they seat me, and it's very important to me.
Yeah, clearly. There's an article about it.
Yes, he said, if they said to me, look, you're not going to be in the first row, I'd turn around and leave. It would be embarrassing to me.
He's just talking about a hypothetical, or did this actually happen to him?
It's hypothetical, but that's
my
why he's
God.
not going to go to the game because he doesn't want it to be that way.
Because he already knows it's going to happen.
already-
Because
So-
Timothy Chalamet and Kylie Jenner are getting the front row all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because they are young, hot, and they
Yeah.
want it.
Tracy Morgan's there. Michael Che's there.
He's not young and hot.
No, not.
Tracy Morgan.
But he's a legend.
And he puked all over the friggin' court.
He did.
He did.
But he's a legend.
Yes.
See, now you're sitting in courtside. Now there's vomit on your shoes, dude. Tracy Morgan's next to you being like, no, I don't feel good. This is because I'm diabetic.
Yes. So anyway, he says, I do have a tremendous interest, but I wouldn't go. He does say he's self-conscious. He says, I'm going to wait for them to invite me. So I don't.
Oh, my God.
It's just
He's already been invited, and it was a shitty seat.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what happened there.
And so even Howard Stern, a man who was richer, he's had two $500 million contracts. He's closing in.
Really?
Yeah. Maybe three.
my
Yeah.
Closing in on a billionaire. The fact that he is worried about where he would be sat at a Knicks game
Yeah, seriously.
just shows you we're all on the same level.
Yeah.
It is so ridiculous, and I just thought that was interesting because people might look at him like, oh, he has everything, and his brain is still a tormented prison.
He's still like, pick me, pick me.
Pick me, exactly. And it's like, why the fuck do you give a shit?
Yeah, seriously.
Also,
That's
again,
really strange.
the owner's box is where you want to be. You can smoke, you can fucking drink, you can do whatever. You have hot dogs coming to you.
No vomit on the courtside floor?
No vomit on the courtside floor. Also, you get a better view. Mm-hmm. I also like to hear the commentators.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, speaking of that, we got to go watch the end of the Knicks-Celtics series.
It's over.
Is it over?
The game's not over, but it's over.
What's the score?
104 to 70.
How does that make you feel, Kyle?
Over.
7 minutes, 25
How does
seconds.
it make you feel, Kyle?
It makes me feel like the Celtics blew it the first two games.
Yeah.
And we lost it more than you won it, but I'll let you have it.
Satatola.
And go
It's
ahead.
Satatola.
Cryatola.
Cryatola. Any comments before we end up for the weekend?
We got, yes.
Yeah.
Chris is talking about how everyone we were just talking about is in front row right now. Tracy Morgan is next to Lenny Kravitz.
Oh my God.
He's watching
I
the
love
game.
Lenny Kravitz.
Gotta love Letty.
What a god.
It just seems so stressful to be in the front row.
It does seem like incredible anxiety. Like I wouldn't want to be in the front row.
I can be on stage. I could be playing. I mean, I can't play,
Right.
obviously. There's
Right.
no chance in hell of me being in the NBA, but that would be comfortable.
Yeah.
Right.
Not being in the crowd.
People were saying, after I said Jerk Shack, they're saying, no, Jack Shack. About that guy who's in the Jack
Okay.
Shack. Jerking off.
Jack Shack. Jack Shack. Sure.
Nice. I like
Good,
that.
good. Good work.
Pano saying, I'm going to go see the Reversible Solvents with the Broken Heart Syndrome live at the Jerk Shack this Saturday night.
Very nice.
Don't
Very
let
nice.
don't have it burn down like the Great White.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. And then we're talking about how cute Kevin the pig is that Chris brought in.
Oh.
It's a
because
really
he emailed
cute
us about
pig.
it. Yeah.
Oh my god,
Emailed
it's
it.
adorable.
Well, I am going to be posting the animal pictures later on today.
Yes.
On my Instagram. Thank you all so much for another wonderful week.
Yes.
We will be back again next week and go and rate and review on Apple Podcasts. Not a lot of people use Apple Podcasts.
No.
We go rate and review on there. And then obviously Spotify, which is our main hub.
Yeah.
And we're going to keep on growing this show. And I'm so happy to be with you all. And thanks to all the new listeners, because we get new listeners every episode. So.
welcome, welcome, welcome.
Yeah.
Waka, waka, waka. Welcome, waka, waka. Awesome, everyone. Hail yourself. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.